up? Another day, another dollar, and I'll be back at again another video. And today, what we're gonna be doing today is I'm working on a 2015 Nissan Altima S. It's probably like pretty much the same as all of them, but I'm doing struts, front struts and rear struts. So yeah, so I'll show you guys how to change front struts, and then, well, that's gonna be in this video. The separate video is gonna be how to change rear struts. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I'm at my house right now. I had to shoot to Central Islip, if you guys know the Long Island area. Yeah, so I'm not gonna be too much talking here, and you're gonna see me in the in Central Islip and working on the car. So yeah, see you there. So I finally made it in Suffolk County. Made it to the house. But so let me flip the camera around, show you guys what the tools you guys would need to do the job. First thing is you need your jack. Yeah, you need your jack. Second thing is you need supports too as well. Always want to be safe. If you have torque wrenches, that could be a helpful tool to make sure everything's up to spec, torque to spec, but it's not necessary. I have a baby torque wrench by inch pound, so the small little bolts. You could do that. You can have that too as well, but it's not necessary. The most important thing is you need your rear struts. They, in these vehicles, they have there's the struts and they have the spring separate compared to this car. Well, the front is just the struts and the spring all up in one. So the backs, you don't need to change the springs, but if you guys want to, you can do that too as well, but it's not necessary. So yeah, so let's get to it. So we're going to be doing the front. The front is a little bit easy. So the first thing you would do is crack loose the lug nuts before you jack it up. Just to crack it loose on both left and right. Get your jack up the vehicle, and put your supports on. So you will see it on the jack stands. Okay. So the first step you want to do is have the jack underneath the lower control arm. You don't have to jack it up, but just have it there by support, just because when you ready to take these bolts off. So by the way, these bolts is a 21 nut on these sides, and let me double check for this side too as well. Yes, it is a 21, as you could tell. Let's see, so right there. So it's a 21 socket, and on top it's 13s. So these are pretty easy to crack loose. So, but you can crack them loose, just you know, just to have it, you know, loosened, but don't unbolt it yet. So, but you can crack these loose first if you guys want to do this first. But what I'm gonna be doing is cracking loose these first. So it is a 21, and I recommend, if you have an impact, that'll be good. You just turn the wheel all the way to the left so you can get some room. So let's see if you can push the button. Hopefully it don't lock. Okay, so it did not lock. So just because you have a little more room that you can get your breaker bar or your impact on there. So pretty much, yeah. So I get my 21. And by the way, 21 is also a 13/16 if you guys don't have a 21 mil. So you can get it like that. And then from there, you just probably need another socket over there just to kind of hold it in place. But in the meantime, one should do, just to crack it loose. But so I'm gonna try to get some content for you guys. So yeah, but without me doing it, I do recommend having another socket on this side just to hold it in place. In the future, I'm gonna get myself a impact that's battery powered. So you get your thing here and then just pull up and it cracks loose. So you hear that? Just keep them going, and then the other nut is spinning, so that means it's cracked loose. And from the other side too as well. So see, there we go. And after when it gets loose, then you're good. So yeah, just crack. Yeah, so crack those loose for the meantime, and then we up here, and then we're gonna crack these loose, and these are a 13 mil. So I'm gonna get my electric wrench. Hopefully it can fit. And the 13. So hopefully it could fit inside this spot. So I probably, yeah, I'm gonna need a smaller wrench to break loose those, but just crack those loose. In the meantime, I want to double check if this one, if it's 4 bolts or it's 3. So check this out. So it's only 3. So yeah, so it's only 3. So yeah, so it's gonna be this one, and this one. This one is not gonna be it. That one's tied down for this. So yeah, so we just crack these 2-3 loose, and pretty much, yeah. So now, yeah, so now what I'm gonna do is get in the jack stand. Mine is a little bit broken, so I have to like, alright. So just have it right there, just snug. Only reason why I'm telling you guys to put a jack stand under there, because when you take off the strut off of the whole entire wheel assembly here, then this whole entire lower control arm is going to drop down. So, and you don't want to let it hang, because then it can damage outer tie rods, bushings, or it can damage ball joints, and it can put some stress on your CV axle too as well. So that's the only reason why I say just kind of support it just like that, so you don't have to damage any parts. Just like how, if you guys know, when I did my clutch, that's what happened to my outer tie rod. The bushing got bad. So especially you working on customers' cars, you always want to do everything into spec. So I'll be looking at torque specs too as well for this, and I'm gonna be telling you guys, and I'll be putting it on the screen too as well. So you guys probably already saw it already, but all right, kind of forgot about this. Yeah, so you got these 2 wires, the little clips here. So these are probably one of the hardest things to do, is the sway bar link. So this is something that you just want to be careful of too as well. Some of these have a Allen key piece in there to hold it in place while you get a wrench and stuff. Let me see if they even have it. Yeah, so it is an Allen key to put it on there. So you would definitely need that just to kind of hold it in place. Then you get a wrench. So this is something that a lot of people kind of like mess up on, and they end up going the wrong way. So the one thing I definitely do recommend is spray WD-40 any type of lubricant on it, because sometimes these do be a pain, especially on older cars. But this is a 2015, so the threads kind of look pretty good. So, but yeah, I'm gonna spray some WD-40 on this, and you want to tighten it. So pretty much, if you loosening it, it's going to pull it in. So you want to tighten it. So this can, so the piece, the shaft here where the threads is gonna tighten in. It's gonna be pushing this way, and then after that means that the nut is gonna be going left. So that's how the proper way how you do it. So this is definitely a thing that's a little bit of pain. So it's definitely, especially from the fronts. The backs, it might be a little bit different, but the fronts is definitely something that you just have to be careful of to do. So pretty much, yeah. So I'm gonna get a socket. I believe it might be a 17 or a 21, one of the two. I'm not 100% sure, but if you do got a flare wrench, that will be even better, because it will grip in all sides too as well. Like I'll probably show you guys. Let me find it first. Because I believe it may be a 21. I could be wrong, but let me just double check. All right. Okay, so yeah, I am right. It's a 19. But if you have these flare wrenches, this will be even better than the regular like this. Because it's, well, you can put it on this side if you have a 19. So that will be better. But I'm not looking for it. Because I know I do have it in my trunk, but I'm not looking for it. This will be even better. And then from there, yeah, it will just be sitting on like that. So it goes around most of the sides. And then, yeah, so you can hold this in place. Or you can push it up, get a little hammer that up. Or if you have an impact, you can try to impact that off. But in my case, I'm going to be very, very careful. Because, again, these things do be a pain. So, pretty much, yeah. So, it's going to be off camera because I'm going to need 2 hands. But, yeah, but make sure when you're taking these off, make sure that the car is off on both sides, left and right, because you would not be able to get that thing off if the front of the vehicle on left and right is off the floor. So just to let you guys know. And it might be a little bit easier to have the steering wheel straight. So just keep it straight for right now. And then pretty much, yeah, so let's go and get this knocked out. So hopefully I can get this thing off, a nice and easy one too. So, all right, so I got it off. So this is, I'm gonna show you guys what I actually use, because it's not a 19, it's actually an 18. I didn't have an 18 wrench, and none of these is not big enough to grip it on there. So this is what I did was I got a 18, I had an 18 socket. It was a 3/4 socket. So I just put this on there, got the hammer, hammered it until it got loosened. After when I got loosened, then I took my hex socket. I really do recommend you get a hex socket. Don't use Allen keys, because yeah, I use Allen keys a lot of times and I actually strip the inside of it. So I really do recommend get a hex socket kit. And this is a, you can see is a number 6, and make sure you tighten it. So you have to tighten it. And then from there, I just use my 19 flare wrench, and it was a good enough size that it can grip it on there pretty good, just to go and get this loose. So in her case, her inner tie rods are shots. So that's something I had to tell the customer, that her sway bar links are bad. So yeah, so when you see like this display, yeah, her inner tie rods are shot. So she will need a replacement of those 2 as well. So in the time being, for right now, I guess she will be good, because don't really have the parts. But I can always ask her, and I can probably just go to the store and run and get it. But it will be cheaper online, so it kind of is up to her, to be honest. But in the meantime, let's go and take off these bolts for it, and make sure you have the nut. Put that in a safe place too as well. And yeah, so let's just take off these bolts. Hopefully I can prop it up, kind of. Let's see, I can do it. All right, I'm gonna just take these off. It'll be quicker. Oh, there we go. All right, so just put this on the side for a safe place, and then you do the other side too as well, and just hand tighten that off. All right, I had to, there's a little safety issue. I had to fix my jack stand. It was like pointed off to the side a little bit, so I was like, oh, I had to go and try to make sure that is good. So all right, and I was missing, it dropped down, I was missing a nut, but I found it. So the next step is really to do that. I just realized too as well that you need to take off. It's the brake line clip. So this is not hard to do, because it's attached to the shock. But you just get your flathead, get your hammer that side, and it will just pop right out. Just hammer this side right here, and it will pop right out. And then I just had to put my jack underneath the car. I recommend to do all that stuff first before you take off the bolts like I did. I just didn't see it until the last minute. Yeah, when you're working on new vehicles, you always want to, it's never a rush. You always take your time. Yeah, if you're not really familiar with the car too as well. If you're working on like a family member's car, like stuff like that, yeah, it's good to take your time and never rush. You never want to rush these jobs because you never want the customer to come back, or something falls off and then you just be like, and then from there you probably had to pay for the damages and stuff like that. So it's always good to make sure everything is up to spec. If you have any type of thread locker, use that too as well for your advantage, to make sure everything is good for the bolts. If you're working on a customer's car, if it's your car, you can do whatever you want. Because I know one thing in my car, I do whatever I want in mine, just to go and get it done and through. But all right, so let me just take off this clip here and then move on to the next step. All right, it wasn't too bad. You kind of like, I'll show you guys how to get this thing off. So it's gonna be like this. Zoom out the camera. It's gonna be like this. When you get the clip off, you just push in and then pull it out on the side. So that's how you do for that. So now what we do is, now when you get your 13 mil, now we're on the top, keep your jack stand right underneath, and now we're going to be taking off the bolts off the top. I just had to get this thing on. Yeah, so now you're going to get the bolts on the top. I'm going to just crack this one loose. Whew. That one was on there. All right, so that's when you get it loose, pretty much. You could probably spin it off by hand, maybe. Yeah, so you can spin these off by hand. That's why I say leave the jack, because it will be easier to take these bolts off. And I had to do that one too as well. I think my electric wrench would have been a little bit quicker. Yeah, my electric wrench would have been a lot quicker. I'm doing this from the wrong hand too. That's why I'm screwing up. Okay, and last but not least, the one in the back. And that one is really loose, so I could probably just spin this off in my hand. Again, all torque specs will be on the screen too as well. I'm not going to say it because I had to look it up. So all torque specs will be on the screen. All right, so now we all set to go. So now we have the bolts all loosened on the top. We got everything working on the bottom right here. And just a double check if everything is off and away, off the shock. So now what you do is just, you can lower it down the vehicle. Kinda, sometimes it gets stuck a little bit. All right, so let me just, yeah, so you probably want to use two hands for this. Definitely use two hands, but most of the time it kind of will drop down. Depends, maybe, but in this case it looks like it's not. I guess the suspension is really good in this car, so that's a plus. But in other cars is sometimes when you just jack it down, the whole entire thing would just come down. So, but in this case, I just have to just wiggle this off. So let me just do that now. Okay, and the old suspension is off the car. So I definitely do recommend use two hands, because you do have to wiggle it off. It kind of gets stuck on this little flange here. So, and it gets like stuck in this little flange. So you kind of like have to just push that down. So just be careful, because it will drop down. And this thing is like maybe like 20 pounds, 25 pounds. So if you're not really noticing it, I think will drop down hard, and you probably might hurt yourself. So in these cases, now we will double check the suspension. Sometimes they have a proper suspension that's like Sometimes it'll be like left and right, kind of depends. But so now we just look at the old part, look at the new part, and if you see everything that's looking perfect, just like the other side, and then you check the top too as well. They do come with new bolts, so that's a plus. And now we just install, you know, the crisp fix out with the old and with the new. And I definitely do recommend don't throw these out, scrap it, because it's garbage anyway. There's no point of you throwing it out, getting nothing from it. Then you can at least, even if you get 10 cents or like whatever, but probably like maybe 50 cents or $1 or something like that, you're better off getting something than nothing, if it's like close. All right, so now what you do is get these bolts off. Yeah, just take off these screws off, and the same way how you put this thing off, you will put it back on. So let me just kind of get it kind of in there first, and then I'll come back. Hopefully I can, let me see if I can prop it up, and then I can prop something up. I'll get one of these boxes or something like that. All right. Okay. So make my little tripod real quick. All right, there we go. This is my lift. All right, so I got this propped up a little bit, so I'll sped up the video a little bit. But this is a little trick that you can do in the meantime, is put a screwdriver in here so you can kind of hold it in place for a little bit, because sometimes the bolts can be a little bit pain to try to get that in there. So I would say just get a little screwdriver, you can put that in there, and if you want it kind of a little bit better, then you can kind of like pry it a little bit so you can kind of get a little bit better in there. But in my case, I'm gonna just leave this alone, just how it is. And I was gonna say, get your jack here. That's gonna be a lifesaver. Get your bolts, your new ones. That comes with the new kit. If yours don't, then it is what it is. So now what you do is you wanna align it up with the shock. Line up the holes together. All right, so this is one hole right here, so you can see, kinda, yeah, so it's one is lined up right there. So now I'm gonna just tighten up one in there in the meantime, and then from there, then I'm just gonna jack it up and yeah, put the rest of the bolts in there. All right, so this is very important step here. So this is very important. So on the shock here, they will have this little symbol right here. So it will have an L, and as in this one right here will have an R on it. If you guys can see, yeah, R. So that's how you know what shock goes to left and right. Don't mess that up, because I thought this one was on the right, supposed to be on the right side, but it was correct. So these collars that's on the bolts holes, it's not lined up properly with the bolts holes. So what you have to do is go underneath, have your hand on the collar, that collar right here, and then like on the top part, let me get my hand in there, so this part right here, and then you just have to just turn it. It's very easy to turn, but every bolt hole, you just have to line it up with these bolt holes, and after when you just hand tighten it in for right now, and it's gonna be censored. So now, and you can use the stock bolts too as well. I think it might be a little bit better because of the flange. It don't go properly on it. So what I'm gonna do is it will hold it a lot better of the shock onto the car if the bolts screw on factory. Yes, it do. So what I'm going to be doing is reusing the factory bolts. It fits in better for the car. It has a bigger flange compared to these bolts, and it's smaller, so that means that it will hold it tighter against the car. So that's something that what I'm going to be doing. So in the meantime, you can just jack it up a little bit and just re-screw in. I'm going to re-screw in the factory bolts for it, for the car. It feels a lot better bolt, and it screws in properly, so it's the same thread patterns. If it was different thread patterns, I recommend getting washers. I had to get a 10 mil. I was gonna get a wrench. Hopefully, yes, I think it's a 10 mil. This is against, yeah. All right. Yeah, this one is against the thing, so I have to push it over a little bit. Okay, so these are all kind of hand tightened on there. So I do recommend using the factory bolts on there. It's a lot smaller of a bolt. So yeah, I do recommend using the factory bolts for this setup, for this. So now what you can do is you can kind of snug up these bolts up a little bit, so it won't be hanging down a little bit, not too far. Not too far down. Oh, I almost dropped my socket down the thing. All right. All right. So now you just get everything all good. This one is need to be replaced, but it is what it is for right now. And then just put this one back in, hand tighten it on for right now. So if you guys watching this before you did it, so I do recommend getting sway bar links too as well. That is my fault, because honestly I really forgot. Yeah, I really did forget, but you know, we all make mistakes here. All right, so now just pop these back in, a little groove. Sometimes you can spray WD-40 if it kind of gets a little bit hard to push these rubber grommets in. All right, so those are in. So now is the next step is to get your little collar here, and you're gonna be doing the same thing like you did before. These collars do be a pain sometimes, so I do recommend just using the hammer and putting that back on. So by the way, it goes like this. So you see how it flares in, so that's how you want to be wanting it, just like that. Just get it on, and yeah, and then just get your hammer that's some right here, and just get little love taps. All right, get love taps and pop that in. So the brake line is all good, suspension is all good, bolts is on there, it's not tightened. So now it's the next step is just tighten all these into spec. So this time I want to say it, I'm gonna actually gonna look it up first, and then and give you guys the torque specs for these. Okay, so I looked up the torque specs. So for the strut bolts, it's gonna be 103 foot-pounds. So those are for the bolts on the bottom, and for the top it's only gonna be 26 foot-pounds. And if you guys want to do that for inch pounds, it's actually 312 inch pounds for these. And for the sway bar link, it's actually said 58. foot-pounds for the sway bar. I think it can be wrong. I looked it up, but I don't look like it's supposed to be 58. That's a lot, to be honest. That's a lot of foot-pounds. So for the sway bar, I'm gonna double check it, but yeah, I don't think that's gonna be 58. That's a lot. Yeah, but yeah. Let me just torque these things down. So but pretty much, yeah, after we really get to this point, you're pretty much done. So I'm not gonna show you guys the rest of the process. You just torque down the specs and then put the tires back on, and whatever you did to the driver's side, you're gonna do to the passenger side. So that's pretty much it, really. But if you liked the video, if you kind of guys liked how it was, I try to do the best I can of making it smooth. So if it's something that you see that in the video that you think is maybe a better idea, besides yeah, using that 19, I need to get an 18 wrench. So that's something I need to invest in. But if you guys want to see anything else, or you guys have any knowledge or something that you think something I can improve in the video, definitely put in the comments below. And definitely just like and subscribe. See you guys in the next one. And again, we are trying to reach 200 subscribers at the least by the end of July. So if we can reach 200 subscribers at the end of July, I really do appreciate it. Right now we at 138 subscribers, so we're working up there. So if you guys want to like and subscribe, definitely do appreciate it. And a lot more content is gonna be coming along. And stay tuned for the Toyota. If you guys didn't see that video, watch it. Watch the 2 videos before, when I went to PA, and the video afterwards to tell you what happened in that video. So yeah, watch those 2 videos if you guys want to watch it. Other than that, I really do appreciate it. And just like and subscribe, and then I'll see you guys in the next one when I'm doing the rear on the same vehicle here. So if you guys want to see how to do the rear, stay tuned. It's gonna be in the next video right after this one. So all right.